Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. It's the autumn episode. Today we are trying green hop beers from the UK and pumpkin beers, also from the UK, but to represent the US. I'm Joanne and this is Tori.
Hello, people.
And we are two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. It is our autumn/fall, depending on where you're from, episode. We've been looking forward to this, haven't we?
I've been looking so forward to it. Yeah. And look, we're both very seasonably. I've got bad witch with like a little like spooky little thing. Got my black nails. You got your Oktoberfest. Yeah. Be more descriptive. I should learn how to be more descriptive.
Use your words.
Cowl is what I think it's called, actually. Thank you. But yeah, we're very seasonally excited.
I've got my Sam Adams Oktoberfest t-shirt on. I'm sad because I can't find my pumpkin one from Witchwood, but they don't brew it anymore anyway, so never mind.
Normally at this point I'd be well prepared with my decorations for Halloween up, but I've slacked and I'm doing them literally tomorrow. A day late, dollar short, but you know, it is what it is. But I guess we thought this would be a little bit of fun because both of us have experience. Well, both of us, have experience in the US. I mean, I've lived there for 21 years of my life, 23 years of my life, actually. You spent quite a bit of time there. And then obviously you're from the UK and I've spent since 2013 here in the UK. So we thought it would be a bit fun, especially with all the hate that we see out there for pumpkin beers and the fact that we've had such a bountiful pumpkin beer season this year. We thought it would be fun to just have a look at the US versus UK seasonal favourites of staples of both countries and compare them, see which ones maybe we like best. I think we know which ones I like best, but to help you. So should we get at it?
Yes. So
what have we had today?
We've got green hop beers. They're all from down my way. So we have got North Down Brewery from Margate's green hop Patters beer. We have got two from Gads, the Ramsgate Brewery. They're green hop ale that they make every year, and then they've made a special one called Ship of Fools, which is to commemorate the fact that the government don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the small brewers relief. And there's a lovely little QR code on here. If you have not signed the petition to support small breweries, please, I'm going to put the link in the show notes. Please go do it, because our small breweries are under attack with tax and with what's going on currently in 2020 with the pandemic and everything else. Our hospitality industry is struggling. So anything that we can do to support them, we should. So go sign that petition that is going to try and get the government to stop increasing the taxes on small breweries. So go do that. So that's our green hop ones. Should we say what?
Yeah, so
for our pumpkin ones, if you want to tell us about our pumpkin ones.
Yeah, so we've got Boottown Brewery Funkin' Pumpkin Spiced Seasonal Ale.
I don't think I'd ever heard of them before.
I hadn't. I was recommended that one on one of the beer pages. They said they do it every year. I've never heard of it. Apparently, they've got amazing customer service, but they don't have a website. So I ordered them off of another website called Beer Gorilla or something like that. But apparently, if you go on their Facebook page, they've got amazing customer service. So I have to come back to them on that. Brilliant. But we've got Abbeydale Pilgrim, which is a pumpkin spiced ale. Yeah. I like the label on this one in particular because it's very colonial US. Yes, it's just got that nice vibe to it. You've got to say it because I can't say this.
It is Samhain. It's not Samhain, it's Samhain.
That's exactly why I had you say it and not me say it, because I get it wrong every time. And that's the White Hag. That's an Irish brewery, and that's the pumpkin ale that they do. I think you happen to notice that White Hag did it.
I did, and we jumped on that.
You jumped on that for both of us, and it was appreciated. And then we've got Elusive Brewing's Carving Yams, and that's a coffee pumpkin porter.
Excited for that one.
Very excited for that, because I'm hoping it's going to be similar to like a pumpkin spiced latte. Obviously Elusive down the road from me. I grabbed them as soon as I possibly could. And I've got quite a few on hand, so let's see how we get on with them. So shall we start with the green hops? Do you want to take us through the green hops, because you obviously know more than I do?
Green hop beer, if you're not sure what that is, so variously you will hear the terms green hop beer, wet hopped beer, and fresh hopped beer. They all mean the same thing. So it is a beer that can only be brewed at this time of year at harvest, because it is when the hops are ready to be harvested and they are literally taken from the fields and put into the beer while it is brewing. So normally your hops are harvested, they are then dried and packed either as whole leaf hops to go out to brewers, or packed into little pellets and sometimes plugs to go out, and so then they last throughout the year. But the freshest beer you will get is made from green hop, where they take the hop from the field. The brewers are brewing the beer on that day. They go and collect their hops, and then they put it in the beer. You can harvest the hops, and as long as you get them into the beer within 48 hours, you're okay. But I live in Kent. There's literally a hop field 15 minutes that way, she says, pointing off screen, from me, and I'm 20 minutes from Faversham, and all of the hop fields are there. And I was watching the social media streams of all the breweries around here, and they can get the hops into their beer between 2 and 4 hours of being harvested.
That's crazy.
So they're on the phone to the farmer going, is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? It's ready. I'm coming. And then they go and get these massive bags of hops. And then I think you can still see it if you go on to, I think it's Canterbury Brewers or Canterbury Brewers at the Foundry, which is our brew pub, which is within the Canterbury city walls. They did a live video of John brewing their beer, and he's literally just got this massive sack, and he's just trying to squish all of these hops, because obviously they're full coned hops, they're not squished down like the little pellets, so they're literally trying to squish all of these hops into the kettle, in with the boil of the beer, trying to get it in there, and you just get really fresh, amazing flavors with it. So this first one is by Northdown Brewery in Margate, and this is an Ernest Patters beer. So Ernest hop gives you like apricot, fresh, amazing flavors. So it should be pretty amazing when we drink it.
I'm excited. I don't think I've ever heard of an Ernest Patters beer. I saw it on the label, and I was like, I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is. I didn't know if that was just like a guy named Ernest.
Right. So Ernest is the hop, and that's named after the guy that bred the hop.
Oh, right, okay.
Ernest something. But it's a hop that was developed by Y College in Kent. Right. And it's a relatively new hop in the grand scheme of hops. But yeah, it was bred in Kent and then named after the guy that developed it.
Yeah, I just thought it was a guy that was like Ernest Patters beer, and that's what.
And then a Patters beer is it's a low ABV beer. I'm gonna say it's Belgian. It's a Belgian style, and it's like a low kind of like table beer type style.
Saying that, I mean, it is a 4%, so it's not as low as I would have thought here in table beer. I would have thought potentially a bit lower than that.
Well, compared to other Belgian beers that are like,
I guess as far as Belgian beers go, very table beer.
It is. Patters beer is a smaller version of.
It's got a nice smell to it in the bottle.
Oh, it's very clear. Right, it's come out the bottle. It's a lovely clear gold, really, really clear. I can see right through it. Yeah. A low bubbly white head, amazing aroma. Yes, apricot, like right in your face.
It is almost like a bit of kind of acidic, like tartness to it, a little bit. I'm reading the back of it, and it's freshly picked Kent hops. I saw the photo you had of the hop fields, and it looks really cool. And didn't you like cheekily jump out of your car to take a photo?
Literally, so it's literally on the side of the road, and it happens that this one's like got a little opening, and I can park in a lay-by, and I every year I like to go and see how the hops are doing. Like I don't take
check on them.
I just like to go and look and look at the hops and take pictures of them. And so like I nip into the field and I go and have a look, and like I knew it was getting towards I think it was like the week or 2 weeks before the actual harvest started. And I was like, I need to go up and see how the hops are doing, because I think I haven't got out much this year, surprisingly. And I was like, I'm going to just drive up and see if I can see if I can go and see how the hops are doing. And went up and had a look and took a couple of pictures with the lovely hops already. I think they're East Kent Goldings. I could be wrong.
Oh, I'd be like, it's hops. It just looks like hops. But I like to envision you like pulling over and be like, how are you guys doing today?
Yeah, just coming. I was running like, how are the hops today?
Are you all right today? You're all doing okay? Just checking in.
Make sure they're all right. Make sure they're growing all right.
This is really nice. Yeah, it does have that very
light.
I think it's very light. I think it's almost a bit more subtle than I would expect from the smell of apricot.
Yeah.
But it almost has like a tea-like herbal quality to it. It's very like when you have a flavored green tea, like a peachy or an apricot flavored green tea. That's what it tastes like. An iced green tea is what I guess.
So that's the characteristics of an English hop as well. You get herbal and green tea notes. So you've perfectly described an English hop there.
Brilliant.
There we go. It is lovely.
I'm going to say that obviously I knew that, and obviously I did that on purpose. Very planned.
We're building your beer knowledge. Building that beer knowledge and your beer vocabulary.
And hopefully helping other people as well while we do it.
Yeah, this one's really lovely. It's very
light.
Yeah, and considering that it's green hops are autumnal, this is quite like springy, summery with the fruitiness.
I would kind of say it's like spring type.
Yeah.
Or where it's still a bit cold, but it's starting to get a bit warmer. Or sort of like the tail end of summer into autumn, where you're like, I need my jumper. It's a bit cold, but the sun's still out a little bit. That's
my
kind
favorite
of
bit.
How I would describe it. Is like still a bit of sun. You can still sit relatively outside. Just put a jumper on. That's kind of what this beer feels like it represents.
That's lovely.
This is my first green hop beer. Never had one before. Hadn't even really heard of it before, if I'm honest.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite things because it's so like, I think there are some areas of the beer industry where it just doesn't happen because they're just not near hop fields and stuff. But because I'm in Kent, we're right in the middle of them. Like, this is where we grow them. So it's not most years we have a green hop beer festival. Which coincides with the Canterbury Food and Drink Festival. And so there's a green hop beer tent, and all of the Kent breweries bring their beers to it. And it's just a brilliant time. And you get to try like really lovely local breweries. And like, I think it goes from, Shepherd Neame, who's well known around the country, to little brew pubs like the Four Candles in Thanet and Canterbury Brewers. And Boutiliers are there, Time and Tide are there. It's great. Old Dairy, like just all of my favourite breweries.
Do you get anybody doing like home brewing, that home brew on like a larger scale? Do you have people that go, or does it all tend to be commercial brewing that goes?
I mean, so the Four Candles they're small. They're a brew pub, so they're very small. They're probably the smallest, I think. So every year they do a map. And if you're on the video, I've got it here, but they've got this lovely hand-drawn map, and it's by a gentleman called Peter Gander.
Peter Gander.
And it's of Kent, and then every brewery that's participating in Green Hop Beer Festival is on it. So wherever you are in Kent, you can find a Green Hop Beer. It's great.
That's really quite cool. Like, you should frame that and put that on the wall.
I've got one framed. I've got one for one of the others. Every year, I didn't think I was going to get one this year, but I nipped to the foundry to get their bottled green hop beer, and they had some out, and I was like, yes, got my green hop beer, man. So I think I've got 5 years worth now, because I've been following it for 5 years now.
That's quite cool. There's like you have a whole little festival for it, and I'm assuming maybe that's probably, like you said, because you've got all those fields around. Maybe that's why I actually haven't heard of green hop, because I mean, being in Berkshire, yes, we've got a lot of breweries, but I wouldn't say we're like known for having lots of hop fields or anything like that. And it's all very like craft breweries. That's, 440 ml cans of juice and, all the crispy boys and everything. It's not so much stuff like this. So that's probably why I've just not had them until you were like, we had a think sesh, didn't we? Where we were like, got pumpkin beers. What is the UK equivalent of a pumpkin beer? And then you're like, green hops.
Yeah,
I was like,
green hop.
I don't know what that is, but let's try it.
But the funny thing is, my first ever green hop beer I had in Oregon. When I was in Oregon. So because Oregon is where America grows a majority, I don't know if it's a majority, but a lot of their hops. I happened to be in Astoria on my travels, and we stopped in at Fort George Brewery, and they do the best tasting plate, by the way. It's like 12 tasters. You get literally one of every beer.
That's not even a flight. That's a whole airport.
Right, it's literally like, it's the best. I've got amazing pictures. I've just got all of these beers, because they're just like, you want one of each? I was like, yes, I do. Thank you very much. And because of we were there in autumn, so they had several green hop beers. But they didn't call them green hop beers. They were called wet hop beers then.
Right, okay.
Over there. And or fresh hop. And so it was so you got to compare like their regular brew to their seasonal that they'd made from the hops that they'd, got from down the road. And I was just like, this is amazing, because but to be fair, some of them were just amazing and fresh and just delicious, and then there was a couple that I described as, it feels like I'm chewing on a leaf. You know how I feel about US hops anyway, because I get that real vegetal smell from them. So stick that fresh straight into a beer, and I'm like, I am chewing on a leaf.
Oh my God, I like that. Yeah, it's very leafy.
Yes, proper leafy. But then I came home and moved to Canterbury, and then was just like, Green Hop Beer Festival. Yes, I am all about this.
When COVID all blows over, assuming it does someday, I'll have to come to Kent for the Green Hop Beer Festival next year, 2021. Green Hop beers.
Come and visit, it'd be great.
What's the next one we got on then? Which one?
Now we've got Gads, the Ramsgate Brewery's Green Hop Ale. Did they do that? I think they did. So quite regularly.
I like that.
Oh yeah, they got their little leafy man. So usually some of the green hop brewers will do a beer. They'll do a collaboration beer.
Oh right. Okay.
And they haven't been able to this year. So we've just got Gads on their own, which is a little bit sad.
We'll just have to make do.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have this one in a tasting glass. I'm not going to have it in my Gads glass.
My question is, so you can hit us with some knowledge here. It says bottle conditioned ale. Yes. There might be some people that don't quite know what bottle conditioned is. Do you want to explain what bottle conditioned is?
So these are real ales as opposed to craft beer, air quotes. So real ale is, it has to have, and so if you're speaking to CAMRA, the Campaign for Real Ale, who arguably kept beer, like good beer in pubs during the era where Euro Lager was taken over, they define it as it has to have a particular percentage of live yeast in it. So this is brewed, and then there is still yeast in it when it's bottled, and then that is what continues, and a little bit of sugar is put in with it. And this is actually the same way that I bottle my beers, because I can't force carbonate at home. So you put a bit of sugar in, the yeast that's in the beer then continues to eat the sugar and ferment, and so that's what adds the carbonation to the bottle. that does mean that sometimes you get a bit of sediment in the bottom, but that is totally natural, and you can drink it if you like, or otherwise just leave it in the bottom of the bottle.
I mean, in fairness, it's almost kind of like, even when you get, but you get cans nowadays, a lot of the times they do like a lot of unfiltered stuff and more like natural stuff as well, and you get lots of sediment with that as well, and it's not going to kill you. It's all right, as long as it's not like over the top when it's not supposed to be, and then maybe they didn't do good QA on it. You're always going to probably get that anyways, at least a little bit.
But yeah, if it says it's bottle conditioned, it's still got a bit of yeast in it that has carbonated it in the bottle. And as we always say, you should always decant your beer into a glass anyway, so that's getting it off of that yeast so that you can enjoy it fully. Well, this is a proper traditional real ale, this job.
I'm getting like a kind of like a vinegary smell to it.
Yeah, it's slightly, you'll get a slight butteriness to it.
It's like it does smell very natural.
Yeah.
I say.
Welcome to Real Ales.
Oh yeah, that doesn't taste like I would have guessed it taste from the smell. So like what you get kind of from the smell is it has that vinegariness. It almost has a bit of like an acidic kind of quality to it, to the point that I'd say it kind of smells similar to like what when you go to a pub and you've got like a traditional cider, like what a traditional kind of cider smell has to it. So I was expecting it to be a bit like sweet and a bit acidic, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
No, so it's got quite a bit of hoppiness and maltiness to it, and I'm from the smell of it, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like it, and then I tasted it. I was like, yeah, I actually quite like it.
Yeah, don't be put off by the smell of real ales. They're not, and it's used East Kent Goldings, so they are grassy, herbal, get a bit of lemon in them. Like you're not going to get hit in your face with citrus, because that's just not the kind of hop that it is, but it just gives that nice herbally.
I tend to find with like real ales, they almost kind of have a blandness to their smell.
Yeah.
There's that you don't have a lot of depth of of smell that comes through. It kind of ends up being a bit more bland and just a bit samey. But then when you actually taste it, you're like, oh, actually,
there it is.
There's all the flavour. Yeah. It's still there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. It's simple, I think.
Yeah, but I think this is something that like I can envision sitting in a pub, because it's that real ale style. It's very like traditional pub. I feel like I should be, a bunch of guys sitting down the pub watching football. Yeah. I feel like but I still enjoy it. Like that's the thing, is I would expect that I'd go, oh, this could be like real old man type stuff, but it's not, because I would probably choose to order this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like this one. I've saved a little bit of the first one because I kind of want to see the difference a little bit. So yeah, obviously the first one's going to be a bit lighter than this one, and it's going to have the different taste because it's a different type, isn't it?
Yeah, Ernest is a much fruitier hop, because I believe it is like derived from those American type hops. Whereas East Kent Goldings, that's an English hop. It is like the very traditional English hop. I'm in East Kent. They literally are grown in the ground here. You're going to get earthy, herbal, little bit of not really citrus, but like a little bit lemony. Sometimes you get lavender from East Kent Goldings.
Oh right, okay. Yeah. I'll have to look out for that now.
Yeah. It's the kind of like it's a hop that is used in beers that you don't necessarily want to be hoppy. Because it is like a herbally,
I see what you say about that, yeah. But I thought overall it's quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, like I said, from the smell, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but let's go for it anyways. And then when I tasted it, I was like, that tastes wildly different than what I expected it was gonna taste like, and it's pretty good.
Brilliant.
I'm excited to try this third one though.
Right, so this is I'd be interested to see what the difference is. So this is I
saved a little bit.
Fools. This is 6% alcohol, which for real ale is quite strong.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like, it is quite strong. You go from a 4 to a 4.8 to a 6. And I was like, well, that's quite a jump.
I'm going to pop this one in my Gad's glass as well.
Oh, that's going to be the one that gets the special glass. I've got my cloud water, little mini cloud water for that one. Oh, and this one's got a bit better of a head on it.
Yeah, it's got a nice creamy head on it.
And this
nice
one,
and clear.
The last one had just a touch of haziness to it, where it's like you couldn't see mine. I couldn't see straight through it when I had the full glass there. It's not as clear as this.
Yeah, this one's very clear.
My glass is dirty though. I don't really want to show that. That's bad. It's not beer clean.
That's zesty.
I was going to say it almost had a zesty smell to it. So. Yep, that's it's punchy.
Yeah, there's something in there that I can't work out what it is.
That's what I could only describe it as punchy. I was like, what is the word I'm searching for? I don't know.
It's not lime.
No, but I think we're trying to identify the same thing. Because I almost said lime, and then I went, no, it's not
lime. No, but I don't. But it's what hops have they used? Does it say? So the back of the bottle says it's a special edition green hop ale brewed with careful expedience by the Gad's brewers at their Ramsgate brewery on the Isle of Thanet, where Kent begins. The ingredients used are water, malted barley, fresh picked Kent hops and brewer's yeast. This is a special edition green hop beer. The government wants to increase taxes on the smallest brewers, not to build hospitals or schools, but to help other brewers who are a bit bigger. We say, please help them, but don't make us pay for it. That's a crazy, foolish decision. We can't afford it, so we'll eventually go bust, and then where will you get the money anyway?
True.
Get the biggest brewers to pay for it. That's sensible. The characters portrayed on the front label are purely fictional, and any resemblance to cabinet office ministers is a figment of your imagination. However, does not tell me what hops are in it. But this is lovely.
I really like this one.
I really like this one.
It doesn't taste like a real ale. Like it doesn't have. I don't think it has that quality to it that you get from that. You go, oh yeah, that's a pub beer. That's a real ale pub beer. I don't think it tastes like that. I think
really
this
refreshing.
Very refreshing. I really like it. Like I said, the head on it is like a lot better than the others as well, and it's like that's interesting.
That's really lovely. Oh, I love that they're also different.
Well, I was going to say, I think that to me kind of highlights the versatility of this green hop. Is like, we're going to get onto the pumpkin ones. And I think the pumpkin ones all kind of aim to have a very similar, much of a muchness type thing. Whereas this is very diverse. Like if you're going to say, oh, you're going to get a green hop, I'm going to go get some green hop beers. I don't think I would know what to expect because it could be any numerous amount of tastes.
Yeah. And you can get like when the festival is on, you can get stouts, you can get bitters, you can get ESBs, you can get milds, you can get porters. So each year they do a little competition and get people to vote for which one was their favourite. And I think one of the ones that won last year was Janet Street Porter by Angels and Demons from Folkestone. They do really lovely beers. And then Canterbury Ales usually do a couple, and they'll do green and pale and green and black. So you've got a pale and a stout. So it's really interesting, all the different styles that you can get. Because
I never would have gone, oh yeah, you're going to take the same thing making this, and you're going to go and make a stout or a porter.
Like because it's just a fresh hop. So you can make anything with it. It's great.
It's very interesting. I imagine obviously it changes quite dramatically depending on the style and the way you do it. That fresh hop is going to change how it tastes.
One of my favourites is Canterbury Brewers do a saison. They did that this year. And one of my favourites last year was If Trees Could Scream, which is a green hop saison by Boutilliers. And they're putting out in bottles again this year. I believe it's going to be on their website next week. So go to Boutilliers' website.
I think I saw like a teaser for that. I quite like the artwork on it. I think they said, it's their Halloween season or their autumn season beer, but we should be drinking it year round anyway. So I think that's what they alluded to.
And I think they've got about, from what I was reading, I think they've got about 3 green hop beers that they are bottling. So if you're interested in green hop beers, Boutilliers do deliver nationwide. So go and have a look at their website to get a green hop beer.
I'm really excited. I want to try their green hop Doki Doki. That's the one that I'm really, really keen on trying above all the other ones, like hands down. So the second that comes out, I'm definitely going for it, especially now that I know that it's so diverse. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to get.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, that was lovely. I'm going to be excited to drink more of that later and take my photos. And
I love a green hop. I'm really glad you enjoyed them. I was worried because I was like, they're real ales, that she might not like them. I'm glad.
I'm not anti real ales either. I think my problem with real ales has always kind of been more the temperature at which they're traditionally served at. And I think because obviously these are in my house, I've put them in the fridge. They're a bit colder than I probably would be getting them. Which, I mean, I guess whoever's brewing them might be saying, no, that's the wrong temperature to drink them at.
Too cold.
But I really enjoy them because of that. So, no, I really did like them. And I guess, like, is there any... I'm assuming that they're the autumn beer just because that's the time of year that you're going to get them, and you're not really going to necessarily get them any other time.
No. I mean, you can't... They do last a little bit. But because they're hopped, the hops will start to die off first. So the older it gets, the less you're going to get of that lovely freshness, which is the whole point of green hop beers.
I'm wondering how, you might not know this, but what's like the shelf life once it's brewed for one of these?
So this one, I've got the Gad's green hop, and it says it's best before October 21. So it's got a year on it.
Okay.
So it'll be all right. But yeah, as with, just like with Punk IPA, like Brewdog are like, drink it fresh. Everybody says, drink your hoppy beers fresh. It's the same with green hop ones. The hop will it'll still be there, but it just won't be as fresh if you're drinking this a year on from now, because it'll have just gradually faded. So it just won't be quite as good.
Fair enough. But yeah, that was really good. Thank you for sharing those, because I know you picked them all up right around the corner from you.
Went on a little journey, went around to all the different brewers.
You did. You went on a mission to hunt them all down, didn't you? And you're like, I've got them. I've come back with some green hop beers.
And the funny thing is, I documented my journey on my Instagram page, and then that week, the Foundry put their green hops on that they weren't bottling on the bar. And I was in the office, so I said to my husband, I was like, going to be a little bit late coming home because I'm going to pop to the Foundry and have a half of their green hops. And I went down there, and people recognise me because I've been to a lot of these places before. And Paul from there was like, aha, here you are. I saw you were collecting green hop beers at the weekend. I was wondering when you were going to come and get ours.
They were camping out waiting for you.
Like, when's Joanne coming in for the green hop beers?
It's clockwork. She's coming. Let's give her a green. Like, you probably didn't even have to order. They were probably like, green hop, and you were like, yes, please. I know you were trying to get the Boutilliers one, and we were like really panicked that they weren't going to do it after they said that they were, and found out confirmation they are doing it. So we're like, all right, panic over, crisis over. We'll eventually get them. Not in time for this, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately,
but exciting nonetheless. So go check out green hop beers yourself if you've not already done so. I mean, maybe I'm the only person, because I'm not from this country, maybe I'm the only person that's not had them. So you could tell me all the good ones that you've had and other ones that I should be on the lookout for, because now I think I want to try more.
Recommend some from further up the country, because I don't think I've had any that aren't from Kent. So let us know.
Wow, we're not done yet, though.
No,
we have
on to our US portion.
Now it's my turn. So yeah, we've got quite a few pumpkins, and just to give you the little brief background on pumpkin beers, because I think this is very important, because I think pumpkin beers over here get a lot of hate, and I think it's just misunderstood. I think people don't quite you get a lot of people going, why why are they even in existence, and oh, they're horrible. And I think the problem is a lot of people over here, they're not as common. Pumpkin's not as common. And therefore, when you get beers that are made with pumpkin, or you get things that are pumpkin, people are like, I just don't know how to feel about it. I don't like it. It's not good. And likewise, people don't necessarily know how to utilize them in the same way as US companies who are used to this do know how to do it. So over here, you don't tend to get, historically, I don't know about these yet, I've not tried them yet, but historically you don't tend to get ones that are the same quality as US ones. So people try one, they go, it's not very good, I hate them, they're all bad. But actually, when you go to the US, it's quite good. So the reason why is that we've been brewing with pumpkin beers in the US since the 1700s. It was colonial time. And the reason for that is there's just an abundance of pumpkins. Pumpkins, I don't know if you've ever seen them growing in a pumpkin patch. There are some over here because I've done pick your own pumpkins, but they basically tend to grow and expand like weeds. And New England is very good, where I'm from, is very good in particular of growing lots and lots of pumpkins. So they just had an abundance. So they put it in everything. And the problem was in colonial times, the resources they had, your grains, that was used for bread and feeding your livestock. It's not something you're going to throw into a beer. So what are you going to throw into a beer? You're going to use something you've got a lot of and don't really have much of a purpose for, which is pumpkins. So they made a lot of recipes. They did a lot of different things with pumpkins, and brewing was one of those things. What they did effectively, and you can probably comment further from a home brewing point of view, but they were using those as a source of fermentable sugars in the way you malted barley. So they couldn't use like actual barley because that was to make your bread and to feed your livestock. So what else they needed was something else to do that for them. So that's what the pumpkin was fulfilling for them. So to answer the question everyone has of why you putting pumpkin in a beer, well, that's historically why they did it. And obviously, as society kind of moved on and immigration happened and more things came to the country and all that, I think it's very much US based for that reason. It expanded and they no longer really needed to use pumpkin for everything. And that's why we saw kind of a drop off of pumpkin based recipes. So it got really, really quiet until about the 80s. And then 1985, Buffalo Bill's Brewery in California did their first commercially brewed pumpkin ale. And he happened to come across a recipe in some write-ins by George Washington, and he thought, I'll just try that. Found out that actually pumpkin in beer didn't really add much to the beer itself. And so he was like, it's not really changing the taste. What is the point of this? And the reason that people wanted a pumpkin beer is because they wanted something that was like pumpkin pie, lots of warming spices. So instead, he fixated on, and other brewers fixated on, instead of putting pumpkin in your beer, focus on the spices you put in your beer, which resulted in basically using what we know as pumpkin spices, which is ground cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves, and sometimes allspice, depending on how you do your recipe. But what that did was then the Brewers Association put in their guidelines that you've got two different categories. You've got a pumpkin and squash beer, which has to be made with the pumpkin or the squash, some type of gourd, but you don't put the spicing in it at all. And then you have a separate category, which is for your pumpkin spice beers, and that can have pumpkin in it, but those are the ones you can put the spicing in. And then you've got the Brewers Association, it was the judging. What's the
BJCP?
BJCP, yeah. So they basically put in a whole section for autumnal beers that said you can have a mixture of all these things. So that's kind of a quick, brief history on the pumpkin beers that I wanted to give before I got into them, because I get so many people that just don't understand why you put pumpkin in a beer. And that's why, because
it's delicious.
At the end of the day, well, beyond the fact that it's delicious, it's what they had to brew with.
I didn't know that. That was really interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, the more you know. Every day is a school day. I feel like if we can get like some clip art, I'll just go, oh, the more you know, and you can do like a rainbow of my hands. But yeah, now let's start drinking the pumpkin beer. So let's start with Abby.
We start with Abby.
Yeah, let's go Abbeydale, because that's the 5%
yeah, you're right.
pumpkin spice.
I've got them in the wrong order. Here.
But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting to sort of highlight, because of the fact that so many people are like, oh, it's so gross. Why would you want it? And I think
it makes perfect sense.
But over here as well, I think from my experience when I first moved here, taste buds don't really like the spices that are in pumpkin spice. I think cinnamon, there's so many British people that are like, I hate cinnamon, absolutely hate it, can't tolerate it. Well, yeah, you're not going to like a pumpkin beer or a pumpkin spice beer if you don't like cinnamon, because that's one of the heaviest main ingredients. So it's got, I will say on this, it has a lovely pumpkin beer smell to it. The smell of it is really quite nice. Yeah. I spilled some on me the first time I tried it, and it smelled like a proper pumpkin beer.
Yeah, it smells like pumpkin.
But it doesn't have, so in the US, traditionally, like a lot of the pumpkin beers you get will be a lot more orange in hue.
Yeah, it's yellow.
It's very light compared to, it doesn't look, if I saw this sitting on a table, I would guess it's probably an IPA. I wouldn't guess it had pumpkin flavor at all. No. It just looks like a normal, regular kind of pale ale IPA. But saying that, you do get the spices in it. I think I'm getting the spices in it.
Yeah, I'd like more cinnamon.
Yes.
I don't think there's enough. I always think you should lead with cinnamon on a pumpkin beer, and I can already see in the ingredients on here that they used more allspice, because it's their order of spicing is allspice, cinnamon, cloves, ginger, nutmeg. I personally, when I do it, I do cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, cloves, and allspice. That's my order.
I was going to say the allspice. I think the allspice is kind of what comes through first and foremost, for sure. What I will say,
ginger.
What I will say, having had it before, because this is the only of the pumpkin ones that I've had before. Yeah. It felt very much, and feel free to agree or disagree, that it's like they were making a pumpkin spiced beer for a British palate. Yeah. They've taken a pumpkin beer and then gone, I know British palates don't tend to like the heavy spice and the heavy cinnamon or the heavy pumpkin taste. So let us, and I will say, I think with pumpkin beers, it's not so much about the taste of pumpkin as it is about the spices.
Pumpkin spice.
People tend to think, I don't like the taste of pumpkin. No. What you don't like is you don't like the pumpkin spice. That's what you don't like. And I think they've just basically gone, let's get a pumpkin spice and let's just turn the volume down just a little bit so that British people might get a bit more on board. Because it's still, it does the job for me compared to a lot of the other pumpkin beers I've had over the years here that were not very good. Yeah. It's not up to what I'd expect from a US standard, but it's a really good effort, I think, for the first one that I've had over here. That's been decent.
Yeah, it's a good try. Like, it's spicy. And sometimes I find that pumpkin beers over here are not spicy. They're more,
I appreciate it. Yeah. It's just barely, normally they go, oh, here's a pumpkin beer, and it's barely noticeable any of the spices in it. And you're like, what is the point of that? It's definitely not pumpkin.
Yeah, that's right. Good effort there, Abbeydale. Well done.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think for sure the can art is great.
Yeah.
It matches that fall feels.
And it's orange and brown.
They have made a really good effort, because like I said, I've had some absolutely atrocious ones over here that I was like, you shouldn't have bothered. Like, should have just not bothered at all. So yeah, that was Abbeydale's.
Yep.
Next one up is the Boottown. So all the rest of these to me are going to be a mystery, because that was the only one I've had before.
Okay. Boottown Funkin' Pumpkin.
I'm so afraid that my face is going to give away how I feel about something if I don't like it. It doesn't smell as, in the can, it doesn't smell as spicy.
It's a better colour. It's more orange.
I was just going to say it is a much better, it's more expected colour is what I should say. It's very, very orange. On the camera it looks a lot
very dirty,
darker than it is, but hazed. There's a haziness to it, not massively.
Not very hazed,
but
yeah.
I'd be interested to see how this compares to yours, just because of look-wise. It's a bit darker than yours, but the same mild haze to it. I don't know how to feel about this one.
I quite like it. It's got a bit of a caramelliness to it. I bet they've done that with the malt.
Well, it says on the back of it, it says that, amongst other things, it says autumnal red ale to deliver beer just like Grandma's pumpkin pie. I would say Grandma's pumpkin pie, probably it is not.
No.
I don't get pumpkin pie out of it.
No.
But I don't dislike drinking it. But if I'm going to rate it in the scale of pumpkin beers, as opposed to just what I enjoy drinking, my personal thought is the Abbeydale's actually more pumpkin beer like in taste, and this is more in look.
I feel this is more a spiced red ale, which I'm enjoying. So it's my So what this makes me think of is if you took classic Twin Flames and chuck some spice in it.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. But
I just took another sip and I got more spice.
A bit more. It's spicy. It's caramelly.
I didn't get that initially, and now I'm like, okay, I'm actually getting that now.
Like, I really like it, but it's more caramelly ginger.
Yeah, there's definitely more ginger.
And when you look on the list, their order of spices is ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and cinnamon is last.
Yeah.
Cinnamon needs to be first.
Why
this is really nice.
I think, again, though, that's down to when you ask so many British people, how do you feel about cinnamon? So many people dislike cinnamon. Yes, there are, like, I'm not saying no British people like cinnamon. My husband likes cinnamon, like all that. You like cinnamon.
Yeah.
But the majority, I do feel, come back saying, I don't like cinnamon. And I feel like they've gone, we want to do this type of beer, but we want to make it more palatable to you.
Yeah.
Let's just tone down the cinnamon. We'll put it last and we'll do less of that. I think all of the cinnamon, just all of it. I mean, I'm going to take a sip of yours.
Oh, yeah, I really like it, but it's not pumpkin pie spice.
Joanne's been lovely enough to send me.
This is my homebrew. My homebrew pumpkin.
So we saved a bit. Yeah. We did a potentially bonus episode, maybe if it makes the cut. And Joanne edits, so if it makes the cut, you get a bonus episode. So we've saved a bit to do a comparison.
Yeah, it's not pumpkin.
No,
it's
I feel like yours is more cinnamon.
Yeah, this is caramelly, gingery. I really like it.
I really like it as well.
I really like it. But if I'm comparing it to a pumpkin beer, it's not pumpkin.
No.
It's really lovely. But like, if there's no other good pumpkin beers, I'll take it. But my homebrew tastes more pumpkin spicy than this one does.
That's it. That's 2 out of 2 where I feel like they are both very good beers.
Yeah.
I would happily drink them. They are better than what I've got over the last 7 years that I've looked for a pumpkin beer in this country.
Yeah.
But are they up to US pumpkin spice beer standards? It just doesn't. It doesn't compete with going to Shipyard Brewery in Portland and having their imperial pumpkin or having their normal pumpkin. Like it's off that mark. But then I don't think they're trying to replicate that, if I'm honest. I think they're trying to make it something that people over here will be into. And I think they've done a really nice, delicious beer.
I'll tell you what, though, I'd drink that with a cinnamon sugar rim. That'd be delicious.
I'm going to get you on board with that. Again, I just didn't want hate. Oh, yeah, no, people won't know what we're talking about.
Because we talked about that in the other bit.
I basically said that I didn't want you guys to pitchfork, come after me, because I was going to do all out American, cinnamon sugar rim on it, maybe a bit of caramel drizzle. I don't know. It's wild.
Caramel drizzle's a bit far for me.
But then I thought, I'm going to get so much more hate than I'm ready for. So I was like, don't do that. It's not happening. So yeah, I didn't do it in the end. But that one more so than the Abbeydale would be perfect for that cinnamon sugar rim. And
right,
now we're on to the
next one.
Now we're on to our third pumpkin beer.
There we go. Right, this one's
Samhain. I did it.
This one smells interesting.
I'm excited for this one, and I'll tell you for why. Because I always hear that Halloween is a bit bigger in Scotland and in Ireland. They care a bit more about Halloween and the pumpkin stuff. And I think the pumpkin stuff goes down better in Scotland and in Ireland. So I'm a bit excited to try this one. Your face looks confused.
Please smell it and tell me what you smell.
It smells like vanilla.
Yeah. Or almond.
Yes, but I guess vanilla and almond are like really close, aren't they? It does not smell pumpkin-y. It smells like cookie dough batter. Not cookie dough batter, like cake batter.
It tastes like sugar cookies.
I love sugar cookies. I'm going to say, yes, it tastes like cookies.
Yeah.
Is this a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. I'm going to make a plea right now. Is it pumpkin? No, it's not pumpkin. Do I care at this moment? No, because I've never had a sugar cookie beer before. Yeah. They need to brand this, do this year round. What? I don't understand. How did it end up like this?
Right, what it says on the back of the packet. Samhain is the traditional Irish celebration of the harvest. In this instance, the harvest of a relatively new phenomena to these parts, pumpkin. The history of pumpkin ales goes all the way back to the early colonial Americas. Woo! Even the great George Washington made pumpkin ale. The modern versions of these ales are more akin to liquid pumpkin pie, a classic American dessert served during Thanksgiving, than the ales of the early American settlers. That's it.
I mean...
So are they going for like sweet pie cream?
Maybe they were like,
I feel like this is the crust and the whipped cream, and someone scraped all the pumpkin out.
I was going to say, they were like, we need to get the crust in there. And the whipped cream on top. And then they were like, but we don't want that much actual
pumpkin. I mean, it's delicious.
I'm not unhappy though. And I think I'm pleasantly surprised because I smelled it and I was like, when I saw your face,
my face. Please watch the video, listeners, because my face, I smelled it and was like,
she was what I can only describe as confused. Like her face was like, why does it smell like this?
It smells like marzipan or vanilla Coke.
Vanilla Coke.
It smells like vanilla Coke.
It smells like vanilla Coke, or I think like you've just made vanilla cupcakes. Yeah. And it smells like the batter, like you're scooping the batter in the cupcake fillings, and that's what it smells like to me.
It's very.
But I was kind of a bit very strong with like the almond vanilla, very strong with that. But then it kind of almost
there's a little bit
a bit lemony.
Yeah, it's a bit. There's some spice in there. I think there's probably a bit of ginger.
Nah, mate, that is sugar cookie.
Yeah,
just straight sugar cookie.
I mean, you can put
extract.
ginger in sugar cookies. You can make a spicy sugar cookie.
It is definitely. I do get the ginger on that, and the more I sip on it, the more I'm like, yeah, okay. I can taste like I wouldn't say cinnamon, or. It's kind of like when you make like an egg wash. Stick with me on this. You make an egg wash and you're like, I've put a bit of cinnamon in it to cover the top or something.
Okay.
And it's like diluted cinnamon.
Okay.
Like a liquidy diluted cinnamon. That's kind of what I get. Okay. Not a full-on heavy cinnamon, but it's just weird.
It's not pumpkin.
It's not pumpkin.
No.
But I'm not mad.
I'm not mad at it. Just like with the Boottown one, like it's delicious. It's not what I thought it was going to be. But okay.
I think they should change their marketing tactic. and market it. Honestly, if they market it as a sugar cookie, a spicy sugar cookie or something, or like a cake batter, think about it. They'll be the only people doing that. And people will buy it because that's different. People go, oh, that's weird. I'll try that. I would. I like it. It's just not pumpkin though. I don't even need to try it alongside yours because I know it's not pumpkin.
Yeah, no. It's delicious. It's not what I was expecting in my glass.
Yeah.
Well, this is a fun one. I like this. We're just coming across new things. Both of us have just gone, at various points during this podcast. It's exciting. Right.
Oh, now we're down to the last one.
We need a drum roll because we were chasing.
We need that on our soundboard that we're going to have to invest in.
Pumpkin coffee porter, carven jams.
This is the elusive beer. That one of the ones that we knew from the start we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I like coffee and I like pumpkin, so let's find out how good it is.
PSL.
Oh, it smells like
coffee.
It smells like Siren's Affogato.
Oh, it does.
So I'm excited about that.
It's got a really lovely head on it. Nice, very creamy head.
Coffee ground.
A brown with red highlights. Yeah. Smells like coffee grounds.
Smells like coffee grounds.
Lots of coffee.
If you've had Siren's Affogato after our ice cream pails episode because you just couldn't stay away from it, it smells like that.
It smells exactly like that.
It tastes kind of like it as well.
Yeah.
I don't get any pumpkin.
No.
It's, again, I would happily drink this. Does it smell and taste like pumpkin? No.
No.
Is it a very well done beer overall? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's a lovely coffee beer. I'm not really getting any spices. I'm not really getting any pumpkin.
No. I would agree.
It's a nice coffee porter though.
It's really creamy. Nice. It's really nice for its coffee quality.
Yeah.
Pumpkin, it is not.
No. I've got three absolutely beautiful beers here, but there is nothing pumpkin about these three.
Four.
Yeah, that one wasn't very pumpkin either. My homebrew is more pumpkin than all of them.
I would say if you had to say like one of them is the closest to it, I would probably say Pilgrim.
Yeah.
It's actually the closest to it. The Abbeydale is probably the closest to it.
Yeah.
I'd go Pilgrim, then the Boot Town Funky Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Then the Samhain, because that one at least still had some spice to it.
Yeah, there was still a bit of spice to it.
And then the Elusive, because the Elusive doesn't seem like there's any spice to it at all.
No, but again, it's out a little bit. So it's
mine was sat out since before we started doing the homebrew.
Yeah, it's not because it's not warm enough.
No, because the thing is I think even when something needs to warm up a bit, you kind of get an idea of like maybe it's still a bit too cold, and it tastes full of flavour. It just doesn't taste full of the flavour they want you to taste.
No,
rightly or wrongly.
Lovely.
It's really nice. It's got
really creamy coffee porter.
Very similar coffee taste to the Siren, which I obviously like, but.
Yeah, but it's not pumpkin.
I think my problem is I really like, for me, when it gets to be fall, autumn, whatever you want to call it, that's usually the time that I get more homesick for the US, because you get all these amazing beers and it's like our tradition is, I don't know if you guys have like autumn traditions here, but we've got traditions of like it's apple picking season, it's, apple cider season, which is not hard cider, it's normal, like I said, cloudy apple type stuff. You go apple picking, you have apple cider donuts, you get ready for Halloween, you go and Salem has more tourists than whatever, you start watching all your Hocus Pocus and all your films, and it's like it is the best season ever in New England. It's beautiful, the trees are all turning, and then you get some amazing lovely pumpkin beers. You sit around fire pits and you just hang out by a fire pit drinking nice warming spicy pumpkin beer, and you just don't get that here. Are there any? I've not known of any UK specific traditions.
I don't think so. You kind of switch to, sausage and mash for dinner and a bit of stew.
That's the tradition. You switch to a bit of sausage and mash.
I mean, it depends. That's me. Because I through the summer and some stew, because that's like a warming meal because it's been colder outside. So you want something warming. Although I say that's me. I like to have like lighter things in the summer, and then as it's coming into autumn, I go for like my soups and my sausage and mash and my stews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas my husband and the rest of my family actually would have. So my granddad always referred to it as dinners. We're gonna have a dinner, and that means it's like it's roasted or it's a stew or it's mash, and that's a dinner because it's like a hot dinner. And my husband will eat those year round. Like you can be in a heat wave and he'll be like, let's have sausage and mash. No,
I couldn't do that. It's for us, it's sausage and mash season, pie season, chili. We make a lot more like chili during this time of year, soups. But I like that.
That's kind of
for us. It's like apple picking in the US, and here it's like you switch to hot dinners, heavy, fuller dinners.
Yeah, I think the things that we do. I mean, like going to the pumpkin patch and stuff like that. We're doing now because it's something that we've seen, and so it's coming over from America. Like it's not. Yeah. I don't really
I've got
remember
pictures of me as like a baby sitting in like massive amounts of pumpkins at the pumpkin patch.
I got really excited a couple of years back because there was a pumpkin patch, and I was like, oh, we've got a pumpkin patch now. But no, we don't. I don't think we've ever really done things like that. Go and collect.
They're very few and far between though, because
fireworks is our thing. So Guy Fawkes and fireworks night.
I like that element. I like Guy Fawkes night, and I just wish that there'd be more pumpkin patches and more like you do a lot of pick your own fruits here in summer, but I'd really like there to be more like apple picking. If I could do more apple picking and more pumpkin patches and Guy Fawkes night, let's take the best of everything.
That make you happy.
Let's just go with that. That would make me very happy. So what team are you on then tonight? Are you team green hop or team pumpkin?
I like both.
No, you got to pick one.
All of that. I can't pick one. Don't make pick one. That's not fair. I've got an Anglo-American lifestyle. I like both. Don't make me pick between the two. I like both for different reasons. I'd really like a really nice pumpkin spice beer, which, as lovely as all of these are, none of them are.
No, if I get to go back to the US at Christmas, then maybe pumpkin beers waiting for me. So I will try to smuggle some back through and send you one.
You got to take an extra suitcase just for
I mean, I normally kind of plan on that, to be fair, especially at Christmas time, because you've got like Christmas presents, heavier clothes. I'm like, how am I going to fit beer back if I have to take your well thought out Christmas present and my clothes, and like I can't just normally I'm like, can we ditch the Christmas presents for beer? Is that and snacks? Is that acceptable?
Gift is me.
I think it's quite difficult because normally I'm gonna draw a line. Normally I am team pumpkin, and for me tonight, of the ones we've had, the Ship of Fools might have made me a team green hop for tonight. For the ones that we've had, However, I'm still team pumpkin.
Yeah. I think you're always going to be team pumpkin.
I'm always going to be team pumpkin. But I like green hop. Well done. Well done for that selection.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What was your favourite? So last one, favourite beer out of all these tonight?
Oh,
not including your homebrew. We cannot include your homebrew.
I think I really like the Ship of Fools, actually. I was pleasantly surprised by that because I was like, I don't know how they're going to have made the green hop ale and the Ship of Fools different, and they've made them very different. So I really enjoyed that. Only because I think all of the pumpkin ones are lovely in their own ways, but none of them have fulfilled my dream of having a really lovely pumpkin ale. So they've been docked marks.
But that's it. We were rating these. We were rating these based on being pumpkin beers, not for just being beers in general. It's the best green hop and the best pumpkin. And I guess for the green hop advantage, you don't have the same preset expectations on them.
Exactly.
So maybe with these pumpkins,
I literally didn't know what to expect from the green hops. They were just going to be whatever appeared in the glass, whereas I had preconceived ideas of what I wanted in the pumpkin glasses, and it wasn't there. But when I plug these into Untapped, they're all going to get really good marks because they're all delicious beers. They're just not what we were looking for.
Yeah, agree. Delicious, would drink them anytime. Happy I've got more of them.
Yeah,
not fulfilling the pumpkin mark for me.
No.
So my favorite tonight as well was the Shipper Falls, and I think that's strictly because I went in with no preconceived notions, and I went, wow, this is really, really good. So I think for me that one wins it, and it's for a really good cause as well. I mean, that didn't necessarily sway me. That was an added benefit.
Added bonus.
Yeah. Right, and with that, we've tried them all. We found our winner, which was obviously Shipper Falls. They're all winners.
I'm surprised by that.
I'm surprised by that as well.
I'm surprised. Beer of the evening. That's brilliant.
Beer of the evening. It gets an award.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to come and dispute our choices tonight?
If you want to come and tell me where some green hop beers are outside of Kent, you can find me at A Woman's Brew on Instagram and Facebook, or you can find my beer school, Love Beer Learning, at Love Beer Learning on Facebook, Instagram, and we're on Twitter now. You can email us at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com, or you can come to the website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. Where can they find you?
And if you want to tell me if you're team green hop or team pumpkin, you can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_hoptimism. And let us know, reach out to us, let us know if you've got any other suggestions of pumpkin beers we might have missed. We do have a few others on the way. So we've got the Flying Dog one, the Imperial Pumpkin, and we have the S43 Brew York collaboration. I've got a lot of them coming to me because I liked the fake Starbucks label on it. I was like, sold. They're probably going to get a cease and desist, but I'm going to have 5 cans, so I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
If you know of any others that are coming out or any green hop beers that I should try, please do actually message me, because I am keen on trying as many of them as I can before it's past the season.
We've had an abundance of them. We didn't think we were going to get any, and now we've got 4, 5, 6 that we're going to have in the end.
I think we surprised ourselves.
We did,
We were only going to do like 2 and 2, and then we got so many. We were like, we'll just do more. It's fine.
I will add links to all of these breweries into the show notes, and I will also link to the petition for stopping the tax hike on small breweries. If you have not signed that, please go and do it straight away, because we need to support our local and our small independent breweries while we can, before we lose them. On that note, to all of our independent breweries, to all of our small breweries that keep making us delicious beers, cheers.